These are some of the best views you can experience in all of Ontario, if you're up for the challenge. I'll also include a few bonus ones at the end that are lesser known, so stick around for those. Silver Peak. Silver Peak is the highest point in Killarney Provincial Park, and that's saying something because Killarney is full of beautiful lookouts. It can be hiked in a few different ways, but the most common way is to start at the Bell Lake access, rent a canoe from Killarney Outfitters, and paddle over to the trailhead on the eastern point of Bell Lake. Then begin your hike from there. From this point, it's only a 5.5 kilometer hike each way, but allow a whole day for this adventure and try to get there early. Overall, the hike isn't very difficult, as most of the incline is done fairly gradually with only a few steep sections and can easily be accomplished by children or people in less than peak physical condition. This peak made the list because of the beautiful 360-degree view you'll be treated to once you reach the top, where the white quartzite that the La Cloche mountain range is famous for will become very apparent. Did you know that this mountain range is over 2.3 billion years old and was once higher than the Rocky Mountains? Next up is Ishpatina Ridge, the highest point in all of Ontario, so if you're looking for something to brag to your friends about, then this peak is for you. It's located deep in the heart of the Temagami cluster of provincial parks, and Ishpatina Ridge can be hiked a few different ways, but the most common way to hike this peak is to start at the Sturgeon River access point, wade across the river, then begin the 30-kilometer hike to the summit. I'd like to say this hike could be accomplished in a day, but it would be a stretch. So I suggest booking a campsite along the way in either the Lady Evelyn Smoothwater Provincial Park or the Sturgeon River Provincial Park. There are several campsites located along the trail on the various lakes you'll be passing by, but my personal recommendation is the Ranger Cabin campsite at the north end of Scarecrow Lake. Approximately half of this hike can be done on a bike to save you some time because of the old logging roads, but beyond that, you'll have to walk. Overall, this hike isn't overly difficult except for the final 3 kilometers to the summit, since the elevation remains relatively the same, although I would definitely recommend being an experienced hiker and camper to tackle this trail because of the length. Once you reach the summit, you'll be greeted by spectacular views to the east and west, as well as an old fire tower that still stands to this day. You might be tempted to camp at the top of Ishpatina Ridge, but it's not advised since it's a frequent target for lightning strikes. If you happen to bring a set of binoculars with you, then you might be able to spot the next peak on this list, Maple Mountain, which is the most remote peak I'm going to mention and is also located in the Lady Evelyn Smoothwater Provincial Park. You're going to want to be an experienced paddler to tackle this hike, since it involves 2 days of paddling across Lady Evelyn Lake from Mohawk Landing just to get to the trailhead on Tupper Lake to begin your hike. This is probably the most difficult hike on the list, not only because of the journey to get there, but also because of the wind on Lady Evelyn and the elevation changes experienced on the hike, especially the last kilometer to the summit, which is a continuous steep incline. And just when you think you've reached the top, it gets almost vertical with an ascent up a makeshift ladder, although I have been told this has been recently removed and rerouted. If you think that you're up for the challenge of this peak, I recommend booking a site somewhere in the middle of Lady Evelyn for your first night, then Hobart Lake for your second night, giving you a beautiful view of the hike to come. If you do manage to make it to the summit, you'll be greeted by an epic view in almost all directions, as well as the old fire tower, which still remains at the top. Now for the bonus hikes. These are places that most people might just paddle past without even knowing that there was a trail to the summit. First up is the Elephant, located in Chiniguchi Waterways Provincial Park, a park that offers free, first-come, first-served camping. A couple days of paddling from the access point on Lake Matagamasi will get you to the trailhead, which can be a little tricky to spot but is located just north of this campsite on the west side of Lake Chiniguchi. The hike is a little steep in spots, but overall fairly easy, and offers surprisingly spectacular views for a hike which isn't even marked on the map. If you're looking for more, then check out the Devil's Mountain Trail located in the middle of Lake Temagami. This hardly even looks like a trail on the map, since it's less than a quarter of a kilometer long, although you'll understand why when you get there. The trail is extremely steep, quite dangerous in spots, so take your time. The trailhead starts on the campsite just to the north. Views from the top are vertigo-inducing to say the least, since you're pretty much looking off a sheer cliff. Once at the top, you'll quickly realize that there are trails leading to other lookouts, so feel free to check those out too while you're up there. If you're looking for more info on any of these hikes, be sure to check out these videos.